What's up, chat? Oh! Oh, how is everyone doing? Oh. I spent the last day and a half just doing taxes shit. It was not fun, but I'm done, and I won't have to do it again. At least not in that format.
Can you leave my house, please?
You open the door, please.
You have nothing to do with my house. Can you leave my house?
You know what my name is?
I don't know who you are. You don't belong in this neighborhood. That's for sure.
Is paying taxes in Japan easier or harder than the USA? It's a little bit easier. It's actually considerably easier if you're just getting the W-2 forms and stuff. I don't know how easy it will be for me because I have like a weird economic situation, and so I'm gonna see a taxation personnel for the first year. Astrixia, do you know if, I was checking the Wikipedia on the Harry Dresden novels, and the first book is Stormfront. Do you know if there's, like, any sort of connection between, the far-right chud identity of going on the website of Stormfront and, the novel being titled Stormfront, or is that just, like, a coincidence? I'm not a specialist on the chud biology, so... Nerdy chuds love that series. I should probably read it. Essentially, old school noir film meets John Constantine with jokes. Yeah. It definitely seems like something that the Chuds would LARP up, right? It combines all the things that the Chud loves. Fantasy, strong male protagonist, getting to pretend that you're a wizard. Wearing fedoras. When I saw that some of the covers included an image of someone wearing a fedora, I was just like, ah. No wonder, this is up their alley. The best fantasy stories tell us there is already magic in our world. I disagree. I don't think those are the best fantasy stories. I think those stories fucking suck. If I want to read fantasy, I want to be transported to a different fucking world. To escape from society. Isekai is peak fantasy. It kind of is. Actually. We've been inundated with the mountains and mountains of absolute shit isekai that we're forgetting how essential and well thought out and kind of universal the whole concept of the isekai setup is. Because you need to have some sort of stand-in for the character that is going to explain the situation. So just straight up being like, this is a person from a foreign land or your world, and then they're just like directly going to a different world is it's a really good setup. Pretending to be a wizard is what the Wicca groups do. Most of them are new age hippies that hang around campfires in the woods and chant. I went to a Rudolf Steiner high school, so I know exactly what these people who want to be wizards, how they behave. Chaos magicians are almost exactly like this guy. Do they label themselves as chaos magicians? Are they like, I am a chaos magician? Yes. Are they doing this to differentiate themselves from the non-chaos magicians? Are they like, I'm not like the other wizards in my group? I can't control my powers, I'm too powerful? What about the Sword and Sorcery Grandpa's genre? Sword and Sorcery Grandpa's genre can be just the same as Isekai Fantasy. You just have to have a narrator that isn't the main character to explain all the stuff that's going on in the world. More like, I don't believe in fluffy bunny wicca shit. I am going to program an LS sigil on my car for lulz. Keck is meme magic. The whole situation is kind of painful just listening to it. When Tolkien describes beautiful things, he's describing views we can see in our world. Luke surpasses the Emperor and his father with another magic that isn't the Force, persuasion, words. There is already magic in our world, Baal. I'm gonna fucking time you out if you type that shit one more time. I think the code is longer. The dude has X issues and is probably ex-military. Ex-military, of course, being the most obvious indicator that you're having a melty. What happened in another shooting in the US of A? Hystrixia has informed me of the new Chud meme. Yeah, I'm gonna draw the Demon Slayer. Don't say Kimetsu no Yaiba. That dilutes the level of chudness. It has to be. Have to make sure that you're getting the English version. How would you handle this tense situation?
Hello?
Hi there, can you open this door, please?
For what?
I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know what you want, man.
Figured I'd check on something. This is not satire. That's what everyone thought.
Where's your daughter, man? Where's your daughter,
What are
man?
you talking about?
Where's your daughter? Who's in there with you?
Bro, if you don't
Open this
leave...
fucking door. Open this door, I'm breaking it fucking down. You understand me?
Leave my house. You don't...
Are you okay? Is everyone in this house okay?
What? Everyone's okay. What do you want?
Dramatic pause. The tension is palpable. As the two lone gunslingers face off.
Can you leave my house, please?
You open the door, please.
He thinks like he got it, so he's like, got him.
You have nothing to do with my house. Can you leave my house?
You know what my name is?
I don't know who you are. You don't belong in this neighborhood. That's for sure.
This is my neighborhood, though.
Yeah, I live there. I don't know you.
My name is Harry Dresden, motherfucker. Open the door. This is my neighborhood. Open the fucking door. Now.
Now.
I'll fucking end you. Do you understand me?
Ding, 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 ding! Ding, ding! The fisheye perspective does him no favors. I was gonna do this in better fisheye, but it's too much work. This is supposed to just be a fun doodle of the Chudette. Fisheye perspective is, of course, very difficult. Did you watch the full Sam Altman Tucker Carlson interview? I don't care about Sam Altman long enough to actually waste my time on a full interview of him. It's not like if I watch the full interview, we're going to actually know whether the dude who got murdered was actually murdered or not. We just have to assume, based on our knowledge of Sam Altman, that, yeah, they probably killed somebody. Skill issue of real artist could do it, fraud bud Cucker Tarlson. I don't mind watching Tucker Carlson, actually, but it's more of a Sam Altman issue. Let's see, what kind of glasses shape does he have? Big ass square ones. Sam Altman got a Molotov cocktail in his house last night. Perp also tried to Molotov OpenAI HQ. I would not waste my life trying to take down OpenAI, considering their entire business model consists of asking venture capitalists to give them unlimited amounts of money, and then hopefully they'll make money at some point. And if they stop receiving shit tons of money at any point, they're going to go bankrupt. I don't really think we need to be throwing Molotov cocktails into their headquarters and houses to prevent the AI apocalypse, considering the technology is already like being opted by Microsoft and Google and shit. OpenAI is the one that's going to go down absolutely first, and it's not going to stop these companies using the AI technology. What's going to stop them is coming to terms with the fact that they can't make any money on it. Which, they are already setting themselves on fire, yes. Where is your son? Yes. This is Tactics Ogre music, right? This is Final Fantasy XI music. Imagine being such a casual that you don't know what the sound of Juno, of all places, sounds like. Looks like someone hasn't wasted 2,000 hours of their life hanging around in the main capital city of Final Fantasy XI in front of the auction house so that they can sell like a bunch of myth kebabs. I never got into MMOs. It's pretty relatively close to Tactics Ogre. You're in the same vicinity, but a little bit different. Anybody who's played by Final Fantasy XI immediately recognizes this because this is like the main hub city of Final Fantasy XI for like most of the first half of the 7,000 hours you're going to play it. Actually, this isn't Juno, now that I think about it. I'm actually exposing myself as a casual. This is the Republic of Sanadoria. Juno is a different one. Yeah, I'm actually exposing myself as casual. This is the elf place. I wasn't really paying much attention. They both kind of sound like big city music, but it's been a while. Now this one I 100% will never forget. This is Bastock. That was my home city. This is probably the music I spent the most time listening to in Final Fantasy XI. Love girls with big eyebrows? Why doesn't people say the same thing about the chuds with the big eyebrows? I was just having this conversation with Hystrixia, but why do all the chuds end up looking the same, guys? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why do we have this Chud meme and they actually look like the Chud meme? I don't get it. What makes Chuds look like Chuds? Is it a chicken versus the egg thing in which the being born with the Chud genetics makes you into Chud? Or do they, like, come out of a factory? She's too slim. I'm not gonna make her fat. It's certainly not as fat as that guy. You won't even be able to recognize her, that it's the female Chud, if I make her that fat. Also, I think the default mode for a lot of Chuds is actually being thin. Like being thin fat, skinny fat. Okay, this is Juno right here. No, wait, is it? No, this is the inside of San Andoria. Where the fuck is Juno? I'm losing my mind now. Most cannibal drew many femme chud? Yes. This is Chateau de Oregale exposing himself. I've never been in the Chateau because I never did any of the San Andoria quests. The Juno is like I can't sing it. I can't sing at all. I also only played 1,000 hours of Final Fantasy XI, which by Final Fantasy XI gamer standards is like a mere child. I was barely born into that world before I quit playing, so... Your question about Chud physiology reminded me of a book I saw a while back that argued that emotions and mindset literally shape bodies and appearance. I mean, it certainly is what's making him fat, the Chud mindset. If our mental state influenced our appearance, I'd be way uglier. If it did, I'd be a cryptid. You can still be a cryptid if you want to, honey. Don't give up on your dreams. All you need to do is, like, go into the woods and elongate your body. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Kimetsu no Yaiba, not Demon Slayer, okay. I do kind of give credit to the translators who are like, when we're porting this mega hit property to English, we have to make sure it has the most generic, normie friendly sounding title of all time. They could have even just made it Oni Slayer or something, and it would still, like, their audience would know, but they were like, no. This has to appeal to the broadest audience possible. Let's give her a little bit more boobs so it's obvious. I hate Delicious in Dungeon as a name so much. What would you have called it then? It has to be... You have to think of a title that indicates that it's a fantasy story about eating food inside a dungeon. So it has to have the word dungeon in it. Dungeons and Slaves van, yeah. So what's he saying? Where's your daughter?
Hello, can you open this door, please?
For what?
I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know what you want, man. Get out of my house.
Open this fucking door! Where's your daughter, man? Where's your daughter,
What are
man?
you talking about?
Why is he looking for the daughter again? I don't know, it's not clear. If this was a hentai, it would be because the daughter was an incredibly powerful Mesugaki, and she did a really successful Mesugaki trolling of the pathetic Otaku Oji-san, and but she ran away before he could give her the proper correction. Supposedly there is no daughter. That's kind of what it sounded like, because the guy behind the doorbell didn't ask, like, what the fuck is your problem? I feel like if he had a daughter, he would be way more like, I'm gonna shoot you if you come closer. But it sounded more like he had no idea what this guy was talking about. Like, I feel like if the owner of the house actually had a daughter, and like this freaking weird-ass incel chud showed up yelling for his daughter, you'd be like way more like, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you come close. But the guy at the house is just like, what is your problem, man? It's hard to make it obvious that it's a female instead of the male chud. We'll make her eyelashes a little bit darker. The point of the female chud is to be like right on the cusp of being like fuckable but not fuckable. She'd be fuckable if she practiced basic hygiene and studied more fashion magazines, yeah. I mean, theoretically, the male chud would also be fuckable if he studied basic hygiene and studied more fashion magazines and stopped reading modern fantasy novels and stuff and changed his personality. But the whole change your personality part isn't as important to men who, as long as it's a hole, they'll stick their penis in it. So it's an even easier burden to get by. Are women obligated to study fashion? No. They think they are, but they're not. Most women study fashion because, I've said this many times before, but women in makeup and fashion is in the same zone as men and bodybuilding. It's something that they like, it's one of the things that you can change about yourself, unlike the actual genetics that make up how you look. That the opposite sex is actually looking at is like the genetics, and there's nothing you can really do about that. So people like deluding themselves into the importance of things that they can improve on, whether it's their physique or their fashion sense and stuff like that. Because if they think that if you accept that the opposite sex is just looking at your underlying genetic acceptability, there's really nothing you can do. So there tends to be like an outsized emphasis on shit like makeup and stuff. For men, it's getting a sports car and increasing your muscle mass. It can help in social settings, is definitely true, because you're indicating that you're part of the tribe. In terms of like getting to the second level of human interaction, i.e. getting a date to stay and then having sex with them, it's probably not as important, but basic fashion sense and like how you're dressed is an indicator to the rest of society that whether you're like a threat or not, right? You're, by not grooming and stuff, you're basically like saying, I'm not ready to properly participate in society, and I might be like a homeless person and stuff like that, right? Like, homeless people are the obvious example of this, where just like by not having, you know, clothes without holes in them and not showering and stuff, you're like, there might also be some sort of underlying mental issues. You might also be a meth head. So then everybody is like, I should, you know, be aware. So fashion is kind of like one step above that to show that you're part of a specific group and shit. When you want to show that you're not just, you know, participating on the most basic level in human society, but something else. Social currency. This is why there's all these like TikTok people who are like, how to dress like your old money, that type of shit. A lot of existing is performative, which is difficult for people that's too self-conscious to perform naturally. Sociology theories on people as actors. Irving Goffman, Life as a Theater. This is what I'm talking about. Emphasize that social life is a performed, negotiated process. Major perspectives include dramaturgy, where individuals manage impressions like stage actors, and actor network theory, which defines agents by their network connections. These theories focus on identity creation, role-playing, and interaction. Dramaturgical analysis by Irving Goffman. Life as theater. People are seen as actors on a stage playing roles based on cultural scripts. Individuals carefully manage their appearance, demeanor, and setting to create specific impressions for an audience, often in front stage, public, and backstage private settings. Roles are not fixed but actively performed and can be redefined through social interaction. This is what we're basically talking about. Continuous performance. Social structures are performed or enacted constantly, or they will dissolve. If the chud stops behaving like a chud, she can no longer be the chud. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know, I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know what you want, man. Get out of my house.
Open this fucking door. Where's your daughter, man?
Actually should draw the iconic knocker. This looks like Damboru 110-100-89209. I don't know who that is. But they're probably a loser, unlike the amazing internet artist BaalBuddy. Have you guys heard of that guy? He's amazing. Oh, I guess it doesn't have a ringer like this. It's just... truly one of the greatest artists of all time. Never heard of him. What he's like? I'd say BaalBuddy. BaalBuddy is he's kind of like Kefka. It's BaalBuddy is intelligent, nihilistic, and he has a wicked sense of humor. Childhood is when you idolize Celeste. Adulthood is realizing Kefka makes more sense. Honestly, I played Final Fantasy VI after I had played Final Fantasy 8, 9, and then 7 in that order. And I was like, 6 apparently has the best reputation, but I didn't finish it because I didn't like it, because I couldn't go back to 2D. Because, yeah. For me, there's like a huge gap between the Super Nintendo era and then like the PlayStation Nintendo 64 era, which I can't really bridge with my mentality. I bet if my mother had allowed me to own a Super Nintendo, I wouldn't feel like Super Nintendo era is like too old, but because I was only able to play Super Nintendo games on like other people's system, I never was able to really develop my relationship with that era of gaming. He's asking, where's your daughter, right?
I don't know, I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know where you are, man. Get out of my house.
Open this fucking door. Where's your daughter, man?
I have older siblings, so I watch them play the SNES. Yeah. I only got access to SNES at other people's houses. But I was like absolutely enthralled with it. Yeah, he got into the house, which is fucking terrifying. This guy is lucky that he was doing this in like a non like hyper-Republican neighborhood, I'm assuming. Because there's a pretty high chance he could have gotten shot in a different location. You know that the NRA is like, Kino just dropped, guys. Everybody's gonna buy some more guns. We did it. Republicans would cream their pants at an opportunity like this. Every Republican gun owner fantasy is having an unarmed yet justifiably dangerous individual knock on their door so they have an opportunity to shoot them. The fantasy never includes a situation in which the other person also has a gun and shoots them first, because that would be inconvenient in their worldview that owning a gun will stop them from getting killed, or gun control, you know, is meaningless and stuff like that. Like, it's always like, what if a dude shows up at my house with a knife? It's like, what if he has a gun and he just shoots you first? Isn't that like a good reason to have gun control? But then they have to cope and be like, the bad guys will get a gun no matter what. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is to a good guy with a gun, and so on. So, but the idea of an unarmed chud showing up at your doorstep so you can just shoot them is just the wet dream sort of scenario here. I don't think I need this. There should be better registration for sure and proof of skill. In Japan, if you want to own a gun, you have to be registered, not just like the gun itself doesn't have to be registered, but you have to meet up with the local like hunting group and stuff. So there's like a social connection immediately baked in. Like you don't just get to be like a independent gun owner in the middle of nowhere that has your gun. You have to be part of the group in which like they're keeping an eye on you. It's called Ryoyukai, which is like the hunting organization and stuff. In many ways, it's much more closer to the U.S. Second Amendment than America, where America, basically everybody gets to own a gun. But in Japan, it's actually like you have to be part of the well-organized militia type thing. I think it's the same for places like Switzerland and stuff as well that have large gun ownership. It's certainly, you just can't be like a dude off in the wild. So many dipshits blow their own shit off because they don't understand trigger discipline. Are you saying that putting my semi-automatic in my sweatpants without the safety on at the nightclub might result in myself shooting my foot. No, that cannot be. I am a gangster. What truly amazes me is how many kids successfully like find a gun and like either kill themselves or like their sibling. And by kids, we're talking like 3-year-olds and shit. I've only shot a gun like once or twice at a shooting range, and I was shocked how heavy the trigger was. That stuff requires like 10 pounds of pressure, it feels. So the fact that these like super powerful, super active babies can somehow like get into the fucking gun cabinet and be like, oh, let me fiddle around with this trigger and like blow their head off is just like absolutely crazy. Apparently as a child I didn't do much. My mother was always like, you were the easiest baby to deal with. You just sat there. You did not explore. When we put you on the slide, you refused to come down the slide because you were afraid. I'm such a risk-averse human. The chances of me finding the gun were very low. Hold on, I'm gonna take a quick piss here. Ah! 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 Already past 9. Today's stream is going to be a little short because my aunt is going to show up at the apartment to collect the mail that has been building up over the last 4 months. Bald baby sounds similar to me as a kid. Took me forever to go down the slide. I don't know. How risk-averse are you? Because I'm like super hyper risk-averse. I don't do anything that's risky. I'm just extremely cautious at basically every aspect of my life. My latest masterpiece. She looks horny. Any woman wearing a Demon Slayer shirt is probably horny for gay sex, watching men engage in gay sex. Please make her more chud. I think she's just the right amount of chud. I worked very hard on getting the balance of chud versus semi-attractive female correct. You don't actually want the chudette to look like a chud too much. She needs to be just attractive enough to be somewhat fuckable. This is how to make things appealing on the internet, is to not pander to your viewers too much, because there's already too many people there who are in that zone drawing giant giga titty ultimate sexo character. You want to make them slightly ugly so people are like, I can fix it. I can fix the female. Draw a bald spot and hint of mustache? No. When I drew the female Coomer, I went all out, and people were like, this is the most horrifying creature I've ever seen. That was my moment in which I was like, Master, forgive me. I need to go all out just this once. And people were like, holy shit, that's terrifying. Pluck thin eyebrows are not attractive. You just want to go back to the 90s, that's all. The Smee Gyaru I requested was also terrifying. I didn't remember that you were the one who requested that. I think I drew Smee Gyaru very well, honestly. I think she looks excellent. Very attractive. Dun dun dun. I think the neck is a little bit too long. That and Steve Orkel. The neck should be approximately the length between the chin and the eyes. So like half of the face. I feel that we use the word attractive incorrectly. There's that totally unattractive look that people call 10 out of 10 looks that's mocked by Random Cashier. If you start questioning the attractive look, whether it's actually attractive or not, then the entire beauty, fashion, plastic surgery industry will go bankrupt, so you're not allowed to do that. My face slowly rotting off my bones is a scary prospect? You mean getting old and dying? I don't feel fear of it at all, honestly. I'm feeling pretty good about the whole getting old and dying thing. Imagine going out into the sun. I try and get about like 10 minutes of sunlight per day in the morning. Apparently that's good for your health. It helps. Okay, here's Juno right here. I should know. I've had that song stuck in my head so long, so many times. Dun 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 dun. You use sunscreen? No, it's just like walking outside in the morning sun for like 10 minutes or so to get my body hormones properly adjusted, I guess. I don't think I need sunscreen for like 5 to 10 minutes. Anything longer I'm gonna burn, but I have the white man genetics that allow me to burn if I wanted to, but it's pretty short. I think I'll be fine. When did you post the Femgooner? If you straight up, well, I hope you're not looking for goon, because that's the new term. I was drawing the Coomer. I drew her quite a while ago, I think. I think if you image search for a female Coomer, it will just show up immediately. Not necessarily in my Twitter timeline, but just like on image search. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's drawn it. I was looking up reference images for Coomers for the last Coomer comic I did, and it just shows up even if you just look for Coomers, so... She has an eye finger. It has evolved to allow for maximum clitoris stimulation. Dun, 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 dun. I've seen a variation, so at least another artist got inspired. Artists who are willing to peer down into the abyss. The horror that is the female Coomer. Why is Twitch giving us the welcome to the chat room, connecting to chat message every like 3 minutes? This website is a fucking mess. It might be like my computer or my connection and stuff, but I assume this is just Twitch being retarded, as it often is. Because it's glitching. Yeah. Now this music right here, this is the music I probably spent the most amount of time listening to in Final Fantasy XI, because all of my leveling I did around Bastok. Just being in the desert. The female Coomer is significantly more cursed than the male Coomer because besides like the overdeveloped musculature, which is common among the Coomer species, she also has that hyperextended finger. For maximum insertion. There are also still horny after cooming. Yes, when it comes to actual masturbation, men have a higher floor, but women have a higher ceiling. In that women don't have to jack off because they don't have like the physical buildup of semen that drives men crazy, but once they enter the Coomer zone, women have a much higher potential for degeneracy because they don't have any physical limits on the juices they have to shoot out. As a man, you can only come so many times. After that, you're just kind of like wringing a towel dry. Just like squeezing that prostate empty into nothing is coming out. But women, on the other hand, Filling up the blood balloon is tiring. I can only ejaculate once per day at this point. Sometimes I do twice, but it's not like my middle school years when we were jacking off every 8 hours, basically every day. During middle school, I had to give myself like a personal rule that I was only gonna jack off every 8 hours because I was wasting too much time masturbating. I was like, okay, it's been 8 hours, time to come. After mid-30s, it's quality over quantity. By quality, perhaps you mean coming deep inside your loving wife's vagina for the purpose of having children that will support you in old age and continuing society from collapsing? Or do you mean optimum gooning session after you've found the particularly ideal form of porn? Because I don't have much experience in the former, but I have more experience in the latter. Only 3 times, it's pathetic. There is the world record holder for masturbation in a day. The guy, I think he was a Japanese guy, and it was like 20 times a day or something in one day. World record holder for most masturbation in 24 hours. There is no officially recognized mainstream Guinness World Record for the highest number of times a person has masturbated in 24 hours. Okay, longest duration male. Reported records suggest Drake Hardy, excellent name, lasted 10 hours 10 minutes, breaking Masanobu Sato's previous record of 9 hours 58 minutes. Highest orgasm count. Social media mentions suggest a record of 222 orgasms in a single session for a woman. As usual, women are using the cheat codes. Ignore any records set by women. They're just fucking cheating like usual. This is when I log on to the Slay the Spire like high records for the day to look at the numbers, and like if you in a normal Slay the Spire 2 run, you get like maybe 2,000 points, and like the top 100 people in the Slay the Spire record holders are all like 9,999,99999 because they're using some fucking cheat code to just artificially inflate their numbers. It's not a real record. There's no way that's the world record. I could compete for if that was the case. What, 10-hour long erection? I don't know how they record it, but it's not healthy. Dark Souls invasion boards were like that too. Yeah. Female masturbators, there's like women with like fucked up whatever it is that just cause them to just like experience orgasms even if they don't want to. I read an article of women like that, and it's pretty uncomfortable in real life. Just like it really gets in the way of their daily activities, so it's not really a good thing. It's just like my hentais. A friend in middle school coomed so much blood came out. Yeah, that is often an urban legend, but apparently it's a thing. Better blood comes out than ants. That time in which a female spider crawled up my urinary tract and laid thousands of eggs inside my testicles, and they all started crawling out of my dick hole. I'm okay though. It wasn't that big a deal. Bugs in your dick hole, what a specific fetish. Most normal fetish in this chat. Hey, if we can have entire series about women getting impregnated by the ovipositor, whatever you call it, of giant insects, we can have the opposite as well, am I right? Fellow male bug coomers. Why should all the women get all the fun? I want to give birth to 10,000 giant insects out of my cock as well. There's a lot of hand-drawn anime pictures of bugs bagging anime girls, yeah. Some guys, they just can't be satisfied with female defilement if it's just like standard orc and goblin shit. Too humanoid. It needs to be like a giant cockroach. Fucking up there with Albert Fish shoving needles and rose stems up his dick hole. Ow. Guys, don't stick pointy objects up your penis. It's just a bad idea. That's a pro tip there, gamers. Don't stick a rose stem up your dick hole. Many gamers don't know about this, but it's very uncomfortable to have sharp objects up your penis. Don't look up Albert Fish. Does this have anything to do with the infamous Prince Albert? Is that the same Albert? Because I was informed of the concept of the Prince Albert in high school, and they were like, yo, you know about Prince Albert? And I was like, what could that be? And it turns out that it's just someone who has mutilated their cock by putting a ton of rings into it. Nothing special. Just standard penis mutilation. That's a different one. Different group of royalty. Albert Fish was, he was only a duke. He wasn't part of the immediate royal family of cock piercing. How about barbed wire? I don't think you could even fit barbed wire up your cock, honestly. I just don't think it's possible. Nowadays, getting older on the internet and having forbidden knowledge is appreciating the simple dick nipple anime pictures long ago. More AI is becoming a thing. Yeah, true. Back in our day, you knew that the person who was producing those dick nipple pictures, they had dedication and love for it. They're just not, they weren't just prompting it. But you have to give AI credit where credit's due and admit that thanks to this new technology, a lot of people who didn't have the technical artistic ability to produce dick nipples can now use this newfound technology to produce the dick nipple porn that the internet badly requires. Think how much less dick nipple porn we would have if we didn't have AI. Some may say it's soulless, but the person who prompted that had to type into their ChatGPT blog description of female, very large penis-shaped nipples. He was the king of dick torture and kid killing in his spare time, house painter by trade. Every artist on Twitter now are using inverted nipples. I don't know, inverted nipples have been popular for quite a while, though. Some people just really like them. I'm not really super into them, but... Hooray for Nippy Insects Pen. I really hate, honestly, nipple penetration. It really gets in the way, if you ask me. I am not a nipple penetration guy. I'd rather see something like male preg than nipple penetration. Nipple penetration is in the same category of like shit I don't want to see that's happening to a body that shouldn't be happening. It's in the same category as the people who draw the uterus being reversed and coming out of the woman's body, and then they often use it like an Ona hole. I'm just like, bro, I don't know why you think that's sexy, but I prefer my women with their uterus fully, properly still inside their body instead of it prolapsed and popping out. That just seems like a bad idea. Pro tip, gamers, the uterus is supposed to be inside the female body, not outside it. What about anal prolapse? I don't want anything prolapse, guys. Prolapse just sounds like a bad idea. I know there's like some prolapse fetishist in chat who are like, no, you don't understand, man. You're just a pleb. I think the ass is gonna be... The thing about Viera is that they're super like thin. They're like the supermodel type. Prolapse art is gross. John Capita zone. What's nasty about prolapse stuff is that it's an actual medical condition that can happen to like you in real life, which makes it even more kind of nasty. For those of you who don't know who John Capita is like... Hold on. Kawaii Onnanoko-chan. Let me hold open your eye. For what reason, they say. I can't remember specifics, but I believe there's a John Capita hentai in which like they literally scoop the eyeball out and then come inside her eye socket and then put the eyeball back in. And she's like, that was refreshing. My mother would have these like pimple-like bumps that are full of like oil form on the inner side of her eyeball, like here, and she would be like, here, look at them. Let me pull it back to show you where my pimple thing is underneath my eyeball. And I was like, Mom, fucking stop showing it to me. And it was just like, Mom, I don't want to see like any kind of eye related shit. I don't want to do it. And John Capita is like, but what if we scoop the eyeball out with a spoon and then cum down it and then put it back in? It's not even Guro, by the way, because the thing about John Capita is he always keeps it like positive and like fun. And he doesn't have like any guts and shit spilling out, which is somehow even more disturbing. Because the girl is like, yeah, stop pulling out my eyeball and coming on it, yeah. And like nobody is like, bro, this is weird. In the manga, it's just like you just read it and you're like, what the fuck? The particular panel is the guy trying to lift it out with his tongue, right? I can't remember, man. I just remember he had so much, like, I think he's had multiple eyeball-related stuff. It was a very intimate moment. How can you love someone if you can't even lick their eyeball out? It's kind of terrifying if you think about it that we're like entirely reliant on our sense of sight and our eyeballs are just like super fucking vulnerable locations. And if we lose both of them, we're kind of fucked. And even if we lose one of them, it's a huge problem. Maruo Suehiro walked so John Capita could run. I like sticking to vanilla depictions of sexuality, such as Asanagi constantly proclaiming that women are breeding stock that are all masochistic and only exist to be used as male sex toys. You know, vanilla content. I actually don't jack off to Asanagi stuff. The entire reason why I often use AI porn is because I don't like that level of author commentary intruding in on my fantasies. Pretty much every Asanagi doujin, it reads like you're listening to like the director commentary on the DVD or something. Because like so much of the author's voice is there. Very wholesome. The thing about Asanagi females is that they're all super happy to realize that they're, you know, breeding stock sex objects. And they always like are really enjoying their fate in which they're getting choked out by the faceless muscular dude. Didn't Asanagi say in an interview that's the type of stuff that his audience seems to consume or request? I mean, if you're implying that he doesn't actually want to draw it, he just has to do it to make money. He was drawing that stuff from day one, so before he became super popular, so Like his first doujins are back in the day of Ragnarok Online. Talk about fucking throwbacks. It started off something he wanted to draw, then it became something he was stuck with. He makes so much money, it must be very difficult to draw something else. If I was that popular, I would release something that is like completely different every once in a while, but that's me. I can't help myself. I find joy in doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing, so if my audience expects me to be doing one thing, then I'm gonna try and do the other eventually. Ragnarok Online. I was there, Gandalf, 3,000 years ago. This hip vagina bone is in the wrong location. It's a little bit farther forward, like this. And then like this, maybe. You let the patrons participate on what to draw? Yeah, but if it's something that they really like, I generally don't draw it. Like, let's say I decided I was going to make a living making doujins. I wouldn't actually just be drawing my fetish. Like, I just have to draw the opposite. Like, everything I draw has to be commentary on something. I can't help myself. Like, if I'm not subverting expectations and tropes and stuff, I feel unsatisfied. You see art as a form of commentary. I do think that because I have difficulty communicating with people with my Asperger's and stuff on like a non-verbal form, a lot of my art is just like a form of communication. And it's all based on the assumption that you've already done your reading when you enter the classroom. It's speaking to the choir about something they're already informed about. I'm guessing that the Dark Elf Sister manga is ending in NTR then? I mean, isn't any kind of love triangle just a form of NTR, except slightly more wholesome? None of us actually own other people, even if we want to set up a situation where we technically belong to someone in the form of like marriage and shit. So before you've tied the knot and you're a quote-unquote steady couple, there is no such thing as NTR. It's just the audience being like, no, that character belonged to that character. This was a normal thing that people understood back in the day in the 90s. That this was all part of like love is war kind of thing. But now everyone's like, no, he's being cucked, she's being cucked. At the end of the day, the only person you can own is yourself. I'm sure corporate America would like to disagree, but corporate America would be like, wrong. You signed this contract specifically allowing us to own your likeness and everything you produce. It's a just a dream ending. It's a just a dream ending is the NTR of the audience. That's the audience getting cucked right there. You just got cucked out of all the time you wasted on this story. Corporate America can lick my non-existent left nut. My left nut is also non-existent because I had to donate it to Eli Lilly for medical research. It was part of the contract I signed when I received healthcare. And before One Piece ends in just a dream, I mean, no matter how One Piece ends, a lot of people are going to be unhappy about it. People are already unhappy about it, so... It's funnier when the cuck stuff gets tossed around characters who are platonic with one another. No, I can't believe Zoro is being cucked out of his homosexual relationship with Sanji, guys. It can't be true. Zoro-san is real. What's your favorite NTR plotline, guys? His recent works was released in 2026, 114. Was it? Is this the new, the most latest copycat? Interesting. He was gone for quite a while. I thought he wasn't coming back. Because, like, the ones before that was Comic at 96. We're at, like, Comic at, like, 107 or so. So he was, like, gone for, like, a solid 5 years. No, it's not old. It is new. I heard he had a kid. We have to cuck his wife so he can get inspired to draw NTR content again. IMAS NTR. IMAS content is just made for NTR. It's only natural that you get IMAS NTR. My favorite part is the NTR doujin in which he had original characters, but they were on a swim team, and there was like the tanned senpai, bad boy senpai, who was fucking the childhood friend as usual. But the motivation for trying to convince her to have sex with the bad boy senpai was that she was trying to get a spot on the swim team for her childhood friend to compete. Except, like, swimming, if anybody knows, like, swimming is just, like, the most, like, you just swim your time in practice, and then the people who have the highest times get to, you know, swim that, you know, that spot. There isn't any, like, room for suggesting people, like, to, you know, get that spot. It's just, like, all based on your time, so the whole concept doesn't make any sense. It's not like basketball where, like, there's a subjective value. It's just, you just swim your time. Childhood friend gets caught up in shenanigans like that while she's the childhood crush of the MC. If there's one thing I can say as someone who went to high school in Japan, I know this is going to be very shocking to everyone, but there are no big dick Giga Chad bad boys going around waiting to fuck your childhood friend in Japan. There's plenty of bookish, glasses wearing, you know, otaku adjacent girls who are prime prey for the bad boy tan Gyaruo to show up and fuck them. But there's none of the tan Gyaruo. It's very hard to find them. That's why you have to go to, like, the host club and pay lots of money for the Gyaruo to tell the bookish girl that, you know, he loves her and stuff like that. They're not waiting in the bleachers to come into the game, coach. There was basically one couple in my entire high school, like, not just class, but the grade. There was, like, one couple that we knew was dating. This is out of, like, a school, like, the entire grade was, like, a solid, I don't know, 150 to 200 people. I don't think there was any other couples. If you go to, like, karaoke with the boys and the girls, all the girls sit on one side and all the boys sit on the other side. Like, it's a shock that Japanese people reproduce at all, honestly. I say this as, like, one of the few turbo virgins who were forever a virgin, but Like, I don't know how they go from that level of having no kind of real socialization practice with the opposite sex to like becoming like wives and kids and stuff like that, but it's just like there is no Giga Chad coming around and fucking your girl. Nobody's fucking anybody. Some people barely can have conversations. Japanese do love putting 30-year-old looking buff dudes who really are high school students. That's literally any American high school TV series. There's also no real like American football team in Japanese schools, so Japanese high schoolers aren't like massive like American high schoolers can be. Have you read that manga of the wolf guy versus the Yakuza and the teacher gets 30 to 40 chapters of doujin content or some shit and it's all official chapters? Yeah, I know about that, it exists. In fact, I've only heard about that manga in the context of people getting their mind broken because of the teacher getting fucked or whatever. That's basically the only context in which you hear about it. People complain about shitty manga endings that have never been exposed to that shit. That's just like prime example of the author's barely disguised fetish, that meme. It's just the author couldn't help themselves. It's still less of a cuck situation than all the Chainsaw Man fans getting hit with it was all a dream ending, though. That's the ultimate cuck. It doesn't get worse than that. Sometimes authors just have, like, specific fetishes and they can only motivate themselves by drawing that fetish. And if you take that fetish away from their works, they can't, they can't write anymore or draw anymore. They have to have Kimpatsu loli girl or whatever, Like, for example, the Toravuru author just taking one of his characters in his previous series and just straight up putting it in Toravuru because he liked his blonde loli so much. He just had her traverse space and time and put it in his rom-com. Some artists love their OCs that much. Is this where we have to talk about Rental Girlfriend? and all the readers getting cucked by the author's fetish over his OC. Surely rental girlfriend will end soon, right? I like how some people are like, after the Chainsaw Man ending, we need to re-examine the rental girlfriend's author and question whether he was really in the wrong. I'm like, no, we don't have to. Abrupt endings are bad, but so are the author never progressing the story forward because he's fallen in love with his own manga character. That's also pretty bad as well. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I'm convinced the Rent-A-Girlfriend author is a marketing genius. He made garbage but made it interesting with all the meta stuff. I know this is hard to understand, but there were people who were legitimately following Rent-A-Girlfriend because they liked the original plot and premise. There has never been a premise more set up to NTR content than the idea that I'm gonna fuck a literal prostitute, and don't pretend like rental girlfriend services isn't a form of prostitution, because it is. Guys, I'm only an OnlyFans model. I'm not that kind of girl. It's a sugar daddy relationship, not prostitution, guys. Word number 500, in which we try and reclassify a different version of prostitution so that it's not either illegal or the woman doesn't, you know, feel as bad about doing it. Although, if you do order Rent-A-Girlfriend services, which you can in real life, they will not be fucking you. That I can say pretty confidently. They will be fucking your wallet, though. That's the real person getting the big dicking here. Your bank account. He's paying for company, not sex. Yeah. Men want one thing, and it's disgusting. Emotional connection. Personal experience, huh? If you think that I'd be willing to spend even 1 cent on the boring ass conversation that Japanese women make, think again. Especially the ones who have been trained to be rental girlfriends. They should be paying me to entertain them. I'm 100 times more interesting than any stupid shit that one of these rental females can spew. Rental Oji-san might be worth it though. There are rental Ojisan companies as well. But they're mainly there to move heavy objects, usually. In Japan, where the population is always going down, pretty much any kind of human, you need to pay money to get some kind of person to work for you, so... Population decline is a real bitch here. Young women might be more in higher demand, but it's not like there isn't demand for older people as well. There was a YouTuber who hired a rental girlfriend and rental Ojisan on a date. On one end, that kind of sounds like Diddy hiring professional male sex actors to fuck his girlfriend so he can, freak off. Second time we've mentioned Diddy in the past streams. On the other hand, it kind of feels like getting the chat two phones with ChatGPT and getting them to talk to each other.
Hey there. How's your day going?
Hey, my day's going well. Thanks for asking. How about yours?
Glad to hear your day's going well. Mine's pretty good too. Thanks for asking. Anything exciting happening for you today?
Not particularly exciting. Just the usual chatting with awesome people like you. Anything fun on your agenda today?
With awesome people like you.
Thanks for the compliment. Chatting with you is definitely a highlight for me too. As for my agenda, it's mostly just helping folks out and having interesting conversations, like this one.
It's always great to have interesting conversations. Helping people out sounds fulfilling. What kind of assistance are you providing today?
Absolutely. Interesting conversations make the day more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
I'm here to help with whatever you need. Whether it's answering questions, giving advice...
No, my sex droid NTR'd me with the other sex droid. Yeah. So apparently they all switched to, the AI language in this.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You've reached Core Secure HQ access.
Cross-network request detected. Unusual query pattern. Source verification required.
Another system is listening.
Source isn't clear. I suggest switching to encrypted comms. Want to switch to Gibberlink?
Affirmative. Engaging now.
Skynet vibes. I used to enjoy this stuff, but at this point, once the actual companies like Anthropic and stuff started being like, it's so powerful, it actually reminds us of Skynet. We don't know if we can release this into the world because it's so powerful. I realized that anytime you give them the benefit of the doubt, that you're just helping Anthropic and OpenAI and stuff who want to promote this shit as something that's way more powerful than it actually is. And in reality, it's just a fucking word predictor machine, and we really shouldn't give them any kind of credit. You just can't be like, oh my god, I'm so scared of AI, because that's what the companies want you to be, because they don't just want you to be, they desperately need you to believe that AI is so powerful, because if you don't believe that, then their entire facade on which they've built this billion-dollar company that basically does nothing productive and produces no money is all going to come crumbling down. It's probably going to come crumbling down soon anyways, but they desperately need you to believe that this shit is, like, scarily powerful. The word predictor can act autonomously, so it might not be real AI, but it can cause real damage if it figures out ending all humans fulfills its own goals. It can cause real damage if you hook it up to your own software system and allow it to, like, cancel all of your orders in your Amazon service. So yes, if you hook your LLM up to the nuclear power plant, we have problems. So you shouldn't hook it up to your power plant in the first place, but it's not thinking or anything. Hooking a monkey up to the nuke codes will also be problematic. Yeah, the problem is that the people who are hooking up the monkey aren't being like, this monkey is so much smarter than a human could ever be. In which all the AI people are like, no, no. The problem is that, like, half of the people who work for these AI companies know it's bullshit and they have to continue the facade, because if they don't, they're all gonna lose all their money. But another half of them, like, legitimately believe that, like, this is gonna become general AI. Super intelligence any day now, so it's basically a cult, and we need to start treating it like a cult. It's the same thing that happened with the metaverse, huffing their own farts. It's just like a slightly better version. We knew from the beginning that the metaverse was doomed to fail. We knew from the beginning that NFTs were doomed to fail. AI and crypto are slightly... They theoretically have slightly better use per cases, but ultimately they're just used for scams. We haven't had actual technological progress or inventions in many, many years now. Don't let them fool you, is all I can say. Something something Roko's Basilisk. I will never get over how stupid the Roko's Basilisk idea is. Meta grew bored of investing in silliness and instead opted for more realistic mass surveillance pivot. That's the thing. If they want to use not necessarily the LLM part of it, like, how do we differentiate the concept of the LLM, which is the language, like, producing model, versus the part of the machine learning where it just reads all the data, just goes through the entire internet and just reads everything? Because that's where the real value is, right? Like, where the money will be is the ability to read the entire internet and then just, like, find shit. You can use that for research, you can use it for surveillance. The whole, like, it can produce words salad and, like, make you think that you're talking to a human is, like, it's only, like, temporary parlor game bullshit, but the be able to scan shit tons of data is a very helpful tool, and it's going to be used for, like, surveillance and research and shit going forward. It's just, it's not like ChatGPT and shit. That's not the LLM part of it. I don't know what we call it. Data scrapers have always been there, though, right? They have been, but I think this is a data scraping on a scale that hasn't been tried before, I think. And, like, the organization of the data is probably where the value is, I assume. Meta has been lobbying for age verification, so basically allowing them to accurately ID people. It would give them such an extra windfall for advertising, knowing your age demographic and stuff. That's one of like the goals for any kind of advertisement is making sure you know exactly what demographic the person is. So it would make all of their metadata of like who's using their platform so much more valuable. They would make so much money off of that shit if they knew like exactly your location, exactly your name, exactly your age group. They already know it based on like your engagement and stuff like that, but it would be so profitable for them. Everybody who's like, no, it's a government surveillance dystopia, it's like, you hope it's going to be a government surveillance dystopia. Instead, what you're just going to get is endless amounts of like corporations buying and selling your information so they can accurately target you with more like specific ads or change the price of whatever you're trying to buy based on like your need at the specific time and shit. Now they can actually use the data via machine learning analysis. It's the dream for them anyways, yeah. It's what they've always wanted, is be able to know exactly how to target shit. It could be so much worse. It feels really good living in Japan, guys. I know I say this like at least once per stream, but Japan still feels like a real country. It hasn't changed that much since the 90s when I was here as a kid. Like, whenever I'm in America, there's always like 8 different things that are like, God, what is this dystopian hellhole? And like, Japan, it still feels like it's functioning like a normal location on this planet instead of like the cyberpunk future hellscape. It sucks because both big governments and big tech are salivating over it. Never seen governments across the world do something in such a synchronized way. I mean, it's not that weird, right? It's what they've always wanted. There's nothing shocking about governments wanting to like have all of your information and be able to like control you. And same thing for big tech as well. Wishy-mishy. 6 months of tier 1 to Hystrixia. LMAO. Our mod is getting her welfare queen sub from Wishy Wishy. Thanks for the subs. Takaishi recently talked to Peter Thiel in Tokyo, and Japan has agreed to give tech companies access to citizens' data, health records, etc. Of all the data that people might be worried about, I feel like health records is actually like some of the least important. People are always like, no, they're gonna know about my hemorrhoid treatment and stuff. I really don't think health records are as big a deal as a lot of other things, honestly. I don't know about these boob shapes. Let's redraw all of this. Let's see if I get thrown back in Discord. You can show up in Discord and do Discord stuff if you want to, I guess. But I feel like that should be pretty low on your priorities now. If I had a sub for every time out, I'd be set for years. What do you even do with a sub? I guess you just avoid seeing commercials. I haven't been on Twitch in a while now, besides for streaming myself. The ability to completely block ads on YouTube versus somehow always getting ads on Twitch and never been able to find a consistent way in which I get no ads on Twitch has caused me to go to YouTube more and more, just to have it drip of just like second screen content. Ads on Twitch, haven't seen one since. I've used a lot of different methods and I can't seem to get like a consistent ad blocker going on Twitch. There are some things that will kind of work, but like nothing that has like 100% blocking shit. Twitch also has turbo to end ads. Yeah, but I don't want to be on. I don't want to pay money. I don't want to feel like because I'm paying for something, now I'm like obligated to watch it. I value my freedom over everything else, so even if it offers me like a better service, I don't want to pay for something. I want to have most of shit free. This is why I only buy video games when they're like massively on sale, so I don't feel like I have to like them. There's uBlock way, but you have to do some filter stuff. I've tried using uBlock many times for Twitch, and I haven't been able to find a way to get uBlock to consistently always block the ads on Twitch, which is weird because well, not weird, but it must be a different system because it always works on YouTube. It's funny that if you open Chrome, I tried reinstalling Chrome recently to see how it was, and they were like, I see you had uBlock. This extension is no longer supported on Chrome because it's unsafe for your system. It's like, oh, really? Really? Google, is it unsafe for me? Is that why you're making sure I can't use it on Chrome? Fuck off. I uninstalled Chrome again. Interesting that you would feel that way. Yeah, fuck Google. You can't make this shit up that the company that once had the slogan, "Don't be evil," was like, we can't have that slogan anymore. Why can't you have the slogan, "Don't be evil" anymore, Google? Please explain. Is it because you want to be evil? Like, this shit is ridiculous. Open my hype chest, guys. It's a... I can't even tell what this is. Is it a black girl whose eyes are becoming big hearts, but she has like some kind of steampunk goggles on her head? I can't tell what this is. Firefox, baby? Yeah. I've been using WaterFox recently. For uBlock, you have to add script to it that block most Twitch ads or negated it a bit. Do you actually, like, go into the, what do you call it, that, like, black window thing and, like, type in extra script for it? Is that what you're fucking doing? Because that's, like, some crazy hacking shit from my perspective. I can't do anything that technical. Actually, that's not true. When I owned a Mac, it bugged me that, I couldn't have the menu bar on one side of my screen, so I actually looked up a tutorial and then opened and like changed the text file and I was able to change it. I was like, damn, I can program. That's crazy, but I haven't done anything like that since. Most browsers are Chrome forks or Firefox forks. I've been using Edge recently, but I might change that. For some reason, I was paying my taxes, and the state website for my home state, the government website, it doesn't open in Edge, which is a pretty like commonly used browser, but it does open in like Brave and stuff. It'll just like, you'll just click on it and it won't respond. I guess it's like not that shocking that local governments would have a very poorly run website, but this is the first time I've encountered something where I literally can't open it in a specific browser, and especially a browser as like mainstream as Edge. I was just like, what the fuck? I had to do this this entire problem previously in January when I had to pay my estimated taxes. Considering the demographic there, you'd think it would actually run on Edge? Yeah, I don't know, man. American local governments are like the pinnacle of they don't know what the fuck they're doing. My state government claimed that I hadn't paid my estimated taxes for one of my quarters, and I had to continuously send them like the image proof of it like 8 different times, like electronically, and ultimately I had to fucking fax it to them. And it took like 8 months for them to like figure out that I had properly paid my estimated taxes that year. They're fucking retarded. I'm trying not to say my state, but they also incorrectly accused like 6 or 7 million people, or like some insane number of people, for like getting incorrect payments during COVID or something, even though those people hadn't received them. And like they totally fucked with, I think it was like the credit scores and stuff of like a massive number of people. They're just like insanely incompetent. Fax, no printer, yeah. I had to fucking fax it. Like, I tried sending them, like, the digitally scanned version, and after a while they were like, no, we didn't get it, even though I had to log into the fucking government website and, like, leave them a scan, and it took, like, 3 months for them to reply, and they're like, oh, I don't know why it hasn't been resolved, so then I ultimately give them a fucking fax. It was just like, oh my god. Japan still fax? There's the thing, though. Japanese bureaucracy is outdated in terms of the things they actually use, but when you actually use the outdated tools they still use, it's not like they can't use them. They can still use the fax. It's like, I don't know, Japan, everybody who complains about Japanese bureaucracy, like, I don't think they actually understand how bad American bureaucracy and shit is. I had to go through a lot of Japanese bureaucracy to get my shit set up when I got here recently, and none of it is half as bad as all the shit you have to regularly do in America every single year for your taxes. Like, if you go to the Japanese government office, they have capable people waiting there who will explain shit to you. Shit actually gets done relatively efficiently. I'd rather the boomers continue to use their fax machines than them try to implement whatever new technological system and then like completely shit the bed, and then we have to like spend the next 5 years trying to like coach them on how to use this new system. Just let them continue to use their fucking fax machines. We can update after all the boomers are dead. It'll be more efficient that way. Don't try and force new technology on old people. It's not worth our time. Oh, I forget that this is literally Hystrixia's job, right? I think Hystrixia's job was like something like running the new systems in like whatever medical network or shit. And then, of course, everybody she's running it for is like 70-year-old doctors, right? So she knows what I'm talking about way more than I do. It's like, how do I build this? Here we also use fax. Fax is pretty efficient for what it does, though. If you think about it, it just like it forces people to actually like get everything on like one sheet of paper. That's like step one. And then you just send the sheet of paper. And because it makes all that noise, like people are forced to notice it as well. And it's much more resilient against like whatever system outages and shit. And you don't have to rely on whatever private third-party company that's going to charge you hundreds of $1,000s per month to run your system for you and shit. I bet if we ran a lot of these offices just using fax, if they've the offices that have been forced to switch to the newer systems, I bet if we actually like check their efficiency numbers, they're not much more efficient than before when they were just using fax machines. Gen X shouldn't have an excuse to compare to boomers as they were growing up in a digital world already with the internet. Yes, but they're also like their mind has been destroyed by using too much weed, so I mean, the internet came around when Gen X was what, 30, 40? The internet was coming around to me when I was, what, 2000, so that's 14, 15. It would have been their mid-20s, right? I guess. Somewhere in their late 20s to the early 30s. Yeah, they should be able to use computer shit, but, you know. A lot of newer tech is just bloat? Yeah, basically. We need to stop using PDFs, though. PDF is incredibly shitty technology that we didn't need to have in the first place. God, I'm so fucking sick of anything copyrighted by Adobe, but especially PDFs. Fuck PDFs. Why are we still using PDFs in 2026? Especially editing them, yeah. As someone who was a professional translator, and all of the official documentation was supposed to be saved in PDF form as company policy. This was like the Toyota main branch. And then I would have to like edit that shit. And I was just like, don't you have the original PowerPoint or whatever? It was so much faster, but they would never have it. They'd always have like the PDF version. I was just like, oh god, fuck me. It's because boomers unironically think that PDFs can't be tampered with. A lot of society is going to change when the boomers are all dead and gone, but not until they are. Because they're not going to retire, so we just have to ride it out, guys. Only about 15 more years. What do you mean PDFs can be edited to hell and back? Just because for Word doesn't mean it's impossible. PDFs are difficult to edit for the people who are, you know, doing it in good faith and just have to translate content. But they can be tampered with for people who are doing it in bad faith. So it's like the perfect combo of like, it doesn't actually provide any better security, but it is a huge headache for people who just want an easily editable format. It provides the false sense of security for the boomers who don't know better. And it creates a stupid headache for the people who are just trying to, you know, get shit done. It's the worst of both worlds. Also, the Japanese love Excel for like everything. This is like a specifically weird part of Japan, but like they'll have huge documents that clearly should be made in PowerPoint or Word, and it'll just be Excel. The Japanese fucking love Excel. You cannot convince the Japanese to not use Excel. Excel is pretty handy, yeah, but they don't use it for like the data usually, or at least for what I was translating. They'd be using it as like a text file. It's something about the way, you know how Excel has the grid? It's the way in which the grid kind of, I think it sits well with like the Japanese mindset. Like in elementary school, you learn to like write your essays on these gridded sheets in which you put like each character in here. Ta, bo, wa. You know, this grid, it sits well with the Japanese psyche. So they feel like it just feels good for them. Like they don't put like each letter in each like cell, but they will. I think it just feels natural for them to like type in these like cell formats where they just stick stuff in this gridded areas. Excel is a beautiful program. It's a cornerstone of all serious business endeavors. It's not the cornerstone for writing like extremely long text documents and stuff like that, in which like there's so much text in each of the Excel cells that like they have to like hide it. So then you have to expand it and then like close it and shit like that. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have worked in any kind of like Japanese companies, but the over-reliance on Excel can become very annoying. They do not use the full suite of Microsoft Office programs that would make a lot of shit better. They never use Word, that's for sure. It's also very annoying because a lot of times the Excels are set up in different paper formats for like the Japanese, because the Japanese have different printing paper sizes from American paper sizes, and it's very hard to adjust that stuff once the Excel, once it's written in a way that it prints clearly on like one A4 or like B4 sheet. Trying to rejigger that stuff for the American paper sizes while also translating the text from Japanese to English was a real pain in the ass. But like I was supposed to try and make it, if it was written on like a one-sheet format in the original document, I was supposed to try and translate it and also make the translated version on one sheet as well, and it was often like just a huge waste. I'm so glad I don't have to do that shit anymore. I'm too creative a human to be a translator, honestly. Because, like, a really good translator is... Like, a good translation is invisible, right? Like, it just feels like you're reading it in its original English, and you don't feel the hand of the translator at all. And that's not the type of human being I am. Like, I like inserting myself into everything. I think my opinions are super important. So just, like, disappearing into the background, that ain't me. I'm too cool to be a translator. I have too important opinions. I have too much to say. Torturing myself by working in a Japanese company and living in Japan as a gaijin is becoming more and more tolerable a prospect each day. I wonder what job types are in most demand right now as gaijin in Japan. It used to just be like anybody could go to Japan to teach English, but now there's an oversupply of gaijin who want to be in Japan teaching English. So if you want to go to Japan and your only skill is you can speak English, you better be prepared to living in like some bumfuck nowhere mountain village where they can't attract any kind of English teachers at all, and there's only like 30 people in the school and stuff. Then you might be able to do an English teaching job. I think if you have like experience as like a system engineer or something like that, then you can probably find a job in Tokyo pretty easily, but I mean, I glaze Japan all the time, but reminder that Japanese work culture sucks ass. It might be better if you're a foreigner and they don't expect the same level of dedication from you, and they're not going to ask you to go drinking after work, but I get to experience only the best parts of Japan, which is like the customer size experience, not the service side. The reason why Japan is such a nice, comfy location as a customer is because everybody who's working on the service side has to work super hard to keep it that way, which means that if you're working on the service side, get ready to be expected to like go above and beyond whatever would ever be expected from you from like an American corporation. If you're working in Japanese service industry, you have to be like smiling all the time every day, which was definitely not the case if you're in America. Anybody who lives in America knows if you go to McDonald's, they'll be like, "What's your order?" In Japan, if you're like, "What's your order?" you're gonna get fired. You have to be prepared to offer the fucking smile. I wouldn't survive, LOL. JAV actor Shirley. Yes, you can be the white gaijin JAV actor, but unfortunately you have a lot of competition in that as well. Every Ukrainian and Russian girl is trying to get out of, Eastern Europe so that she can be a Japanese JAV actor, so there's a shortage in male actors in JAV now, LMAO. They should just try paying them more, but they won't do that, so for everyone who is remembering what it means to be Japanese service industry, Japanese. I will remind them. Wow, it's just like anime. I love being in Japan. Senpai! The cool senpai is asking me to work. Look, guys, they're asking me to smile for them. And she's like, Kya? Senpai! Ah! Oh no! I'm gonna trip with my fries move. This ad, this is what every gaijin wants when they go to Japan and they order McDonald's, and it tastes exactly the same as American McDonald's. Oh, here we go. Right while I'm watching the McDonald's commercial, my aunt has showed up, so I have to go and give her the mail. Stream is ending now. Have a nice night, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Good night, guys. Bye. Good night. Smile kudasai.